oh my God, 1 year anniversary. But many, many years for our friendship.
Yeah.
But 1 year for In the House podcast. So welcome back to our listeners. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting us. What, Toni?
What? Tell me.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary.
Ching ching. Wait, this is boring.
Oh, we should cheers.
This is boring. We have like tea and coffee.
We don't drink alcohol though. We just established that.
Guess what? This 1 year anniversary marks the day, it's actually our 44th episode.
That's insane. I didn't why I didn't record as many as you because I was also giving birth.
But it doesn't matter. It was
part of that.
It's teamwork. But 1 year, did you realize we were going to last for 1 year?
No, it's shocking to me.
Well, why not?
No, I mean, I think it's more fun now than when we first started.
It's definitely more fun. I'm way more relaxed.
I know you are.
Oh my God, 1 year anniversary. But many, many years for our friendship.
Yeah.
But 1 year for In the House podcast. So welcome back to our listeners. I really, really appreciate you guys tuning in and supporting us and DMing us and liking our post and listening to our IGTV videos and subscribing to YouTube and making comments and giving us feedback.
Yeah, I feel like we've made a lot of great connections with people.
Oh my gosh.
And not just, people throughout all of our industry, which has been amazing and so fulfilling. Yeah, it's something I look forward to.
My favorite is definitely interviewing guests.
You're
on the
great.
show.
You're way better than me at interviewing guests. Sometimes, admittedly, it's hard for me to say something because you're so focused.
I'm so eager.
Next question. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna let you roll with it.
So sorry.
No, it's great. You're wonderful at it.
Before I forget, I don't want to type and try to remember. So I try to remember the questions and then I have to spit it out before I forget.
It's great because that's why a lot of those in-depth discussions were generated with your questions.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. But yeah, I can't believe it's been 1 year and it all came with just one DM to you asking, hey, do you want to start a podcast?
And my answer was yes.
And that it's a start from there. We did a trial run on Zoom and then got feedback from our friends. And
do you remember that feedback?
Well, first of all, it was recorded poorly because we didn't have both our faces on the screen.
Well, I was also doing things in the background. They're like, Toni looks distracted. I'm like, yeah, because you're just supposed to be listening and not looking at me doing these other things.
You're walking room to room.
Yeah, because I was doing stuff in the office.
And then we came up with a podcast name. Then
do you remember that? Can we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
When we were going through the list of all the names. Yeah. And one of them was West Coast Real Estate Agents.
Yeah, that was our original name.
But you had said, you were like, a bunch of realtor friends said that. I was like, no, man, that's boring. That is boring. In the House sounds so much better.
Yeah, that was
because we are realtors.
Yeah. And then actually it was going to be In the House.
Yeah.
And we just felt like it was a little bit too street.
I mean, yeah. Anyhow, but a little too street. Yeah. Isn't there a song about that? Anyhow, it's funny how we even came up with the name. And I'm actually really thankful we didn't name it something boring.
Yeah, totally. Because
we're West Coast Real Estate Agents.
Oh, that's our email address, by the way.
Yeah. We should probably look at changing that. Anyhow.
So yeah, In the House. And have to thank our team behind the scene, of course, is Podcast Creative. Braden. I'm so sorry. I still can't pronounce your last name. God darn it.
Drykowski or Dykowski?
Dykowski.
Yeah,
Dykowski.
Right? From Dykowski.
Podcastcreative.com.
Podfather.
Creative.com. Jesus. Well, that's because he switched names in the middle of our sessions. That's why.
It is true.
But
sometimes.
Awesome branding. I mean.
Braden, we love you. Sometimes when I have to look through different things though, like when I'm trying to look for your emails, it's confusing to me because it's like I have to look in my head. I'm like Podfather or Braden? Podfather or Braden? Because it only brings up certain ones. I'm like, it's from Podfather Creative. And we also want to thank Miranda.
Miranda, she's been on our West One team for 4 years, coming on to 4 years.
She's the best.
She created our brand, our logo, putting together our videos.
Seriously, do you know how lucky you are that you found her?
Yes.
Gosh, I'm super jealous.
She's like superwoman in our graphic creative department.
For sure. So anyhow, we are very thankful. We're thankful to all of you. I also am thankful to you, Jenny.
Oh, thank you.
This has been, yes. If you hadn't had messaged me that day, we would not be here now. Mm-hmm. And I'm shocked because when I was filming that video, the tenanted properties one during that first wave of COVID, mm-hmm. I really didn't want to post it. I wasn't feeling it. And thank goodness I did.
And I normally never watch videos. Like I never watch.
It was the universe aligning.
And I'm so grateful that you said yes too.
All right. Well, so, what do we have on the agenda for today?
We actually asked our audience and our listeners to ask us questions and to just give us some, what do they want to know about us? What do they want to know about Vancouver, about the market in general? And we got, Miranda kind of sorted through all of them and gave us 9. We're going to go through them today.
Who's going to say the question then? Are we reading it?
Yeah. Okay. So question number 1. Who helped you grow and develop the most as a real estate agent in your first 5 years? Which question? This came from Danae McCullough from Fraser Valley. She's currently a real estate student and a family with 2 beautiful boys.
Oh.
So who helped you grow and develop your real estate career in the first 5 years?
Gosh. Ooh, I almost wish I looked at this question before. Okay. I actually want to say it started before the 5 years. Mm-hmm. My dad was a very successful real estate agent. He opened his own company. Back in the day, Medallion was a little bit different, and all that is how much production that you do. Mm-hmm. But I know back in the day, he had made Medallion in the month of February. Mm-hmm. For second month out of the year, and it was already done. So I actually, and he'd probably start crying if he listened to this podcast, but that's not why I'm saying it. So I grew up watching him in real estate. I never wanted to be in real estate, but I always watched him. I learned from him. I used to accompany him to open houses and things like that. So I would actually say that my dad was the most instrumental person to learn from. He's fantastic. And after I started in real estate, I started at Rennie Marketing. So who would it be? I used to go early and just kind of sit in the bullpit. And I think that I learned from everybody just by sitting there and listening and learning about the verbiage, those kinds of things. Yeah. And then one final person, I know it said just who as in one person, but the reality is we're also made better through all of our experiences. And that can be with more than one person. Mm-hmm. Tracy McTavish, VP of Rennie, and Vincent Tang, their managing broker. They were both and Gerald Soong as well. They were instrumental to me. And we're going to be having Tracy on the podcast.
Amazing.
That's going to be a really great episode for you guys to listen into. He's really good. He's in that pre-sale world. So very interesting for new development. Sorry, that was a long way to go about it. What about you? Who would you say helped you grow and develop the most as a real estate agent in your first 5 years?
So I live on my own in Vancouver. So whenever I would visit back in Toronto, my uncle is a real estate agent there. And so I would just shadow him for like a day, whether it be at appointments or whether it be making phone calls. So I shadowed him there. And then I would say because I'm an achiever by nature, I've always been I always had a curious mind. So wanting to take schools and extracurricular courses after in the evenings and community courses, I've always just wanted to just did things on my own. Mm-hmm. I would probably say the most influential would be the circle of like senior sales managers that I worked with on the pre-sale side.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was working for a developer, and I would call them my big sisters. And so just learning from them and how they did, connected with people. And then, just kind of
it sounds
brushed up
like
on the skills from there.
Yeah. And for both of us, it was kind of like experiential learning. Mm-hmm. You have to do the work, obviously. You have to be open to all of these things because it's a new career mm-hmm. when you start. So there's so much to learn. And I would agree that anybody that's in a mentor role or already has the experience, there are certain people that you'll align with that will mm-hmm. help you on that journey for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that answer her question?
Totally.
Okay.
Number 2, this is from Angel Wong. She's a realtor at Remax West Coast, and her handle, if you want to follow her, is Angel Wong _YVR. She is, thank you so much for your comment, Angel. Continue the great podcast and insights. Okay. Her question is, as a new agent, should you join a team or continue to work solo? Your thoughts and recommendations would be greatly appreciated.
And I think you should answer that first because I answered the last one first.
Okay, sure. I think as a new agent, it really depends on what you are looking for. So if you are finding that the benefits of working on a team there's a handful of them. If you don't have a great amount of leads and you're relying on building your database, so you may want to work with a high volume agent who has the tools that will be able to give you the leads that you need to get your business going. Mm-hmm. There's also the need to be in a collaborative community where most often when you are working solo, you are on your own. You don't really have anyone to ask questions besides your managing broker. Mm-hmm. But if you are working in a team, you're just putting your heads together in terms of problem solving and negotiations mm-hmm. and trying to working out all those little details that you need to do with the contract. Yeah. But I would say if you are needing new leads and if you're looking for a mentor and can be inspired by and can work with a leader that's willing to share kind of their trade secrets, I would definitely join a team. But be prepared. This is a totally different session, but be prepared to calculate all your splits as well, because obviously there's a cost to joining a team and having a leader right by your side.
Of course. I agree. I think it is personal preference. I think it's also on whether personality style can have a lot to do with it, mm-hmm. whether or not you're a quick start or depending on how you learn. If you're somebody that really thrives being in an environment where you're learning everything brand new and you have yourself to do that, you're relying on yourself, it's okay to be on your own. That's how I started. However, I do think there's a lot to be said about joining a reputable team. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Not just a team.
Yes.
And somebody, possibly a team that you are aligned with in terms of values or, because I've seen a lot of people join teams and it doesn't work out and it could be a learning thing. It could be a leadership thing, mm-hmm. variety of different things.
Mm-hmm. Actually, so let's do an episode next time about if you are new to the industry, what are the questions you need to ask before joining a team?
Yeah, let's do that
one. Question number 3. This comes from Jovita Pinto. Mm-hmm. Her handle is at Lady J _Pinto. By the way, she has awesome puns on her account. Mm-hmm. If you want to follow her, and she's a content creator. Her question is: what are newspapers, accounts, or organizations you would suggest to read or follow to stay informed about what's happening in the Vancouver real estate market?
This is a great question. Mm-hmm. And sorry, I assume that she's asking this as a member of the public, right? So not somebody that would be as concerned about the data as we are.
You answer that question, and I'll answer as if you're a real estate agent. So you answer as if you're a person who's
you get why I'm asking the question. It makes a difference. Makes sense. Okay. So if I was a member of the public, I certainly would not be listening to the news. No offense, media. But seriously, don't. It is most of the time, it's not even that it's inaccurate. It could be accurate for that day. The real estate market is fluid. So by the time the story's recorded and out there, it's already old. Also, it's not always accurate. So if you're a member of the public, what I actually think could be a great resource for you is even getting statistics or data directly from the real estate board or your local realtor. because there's a difference between having those statistics with you and then knowing what they mean. I don't know if that's good advice, but I'd probably go directly to the source.
Awesome. Okay,
and
that's
if you are
really
a realtor, it's going to be a little bit different though, right? So if you're a real estate agent.
So if you're a real estate agent, there's a few, there's actually a lot of resources out there. I'm going to just give some of my top 5 that I subscribe to. One of them is with Fifth Avenue. They actually have a comprehensive analysis for multifamily new home markets, and it's called Fifth Dimension. It's produced by Fifth Avenue, who is a sales and project marketing company in the Fraser Valley. And they send out reports every quarter. So that's one. MLA as well. They do real estate intelligent reports, and they're also emailing it pretty much every quarter into your inbox. Really good insight because they also have analysts right in-house. And so those reports are really, really useful.
And again, that's mostly for pre-sale though, right? And new development?
Primarily, yes, resale. If you want the general market, actually one of my favorite ones would be a report offered by UDI. So it's Urban Development Institute.
A lot of that.
Their market research reports are out every quarter, and they offer insights on social development, on affordable housing, on how the economy is affecting, and interest rates are affecting the economy in general. It's really, really comprehensive. It's typically 25 pages or more. And it talks about the trends, and it talks about what's happening, new developments that are in the area, wood frame, concrete, single family homes in general. As far as email goes, I actually get into my email the real estate wire, which is rew.ca. We interviewed Simon Bray last year, and
last year.
Was it last year or earlier in this year? Probably
it was already. That's crazy.
They actually send out reports and also ask questions from consumers and realtors to create real facts.
Important.
Yeah. From the people in Vancouver. So they actually provide reports as well. So I definitely recommend you being on their list so that you're getting emails from them weekly. And if you're interested, we often are featured in Real Estate Magazine. REM. And I get those emails probably every other day, or is it twice a week?
I think you have an option to subscribe for more frequent activity or like monthly.
Really good videos and articles that are being written by realtors for realtors. That's in your inbox. And I do want to actually give props to Steve Suretsky. He's an agent at Oakwyn, and he has a very popular YouTube video, talks about the economy and how it affects real estate.
Okay. So what's his handle then? It's just his name?
I don't know his handle, but I just, it on YouTube, it's Steve Suretsky.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay. Next question.
Oh, again, from Jovita Pinto. Her question is, for new agents, what 3 topics would you recommend we post on about social media? We post about on social media.
So I'm going to answer this broadly, and then I think you'd probably want to give a more specific breakdown to our listeners.
Sure.
Okay. So I think that as long as you are posting in line with your values. So for example, you need some personal stories, absolutely, because how are people supposed to be able to relate to you? And also, whether or not you're new in real estate or an experienced veteran, you do want to be posting once in a while about real estate as well, if it's on your personal account. So people know that that's what you do. I know a lot of us now, if you're selling a lot of homes, you might open a separate account, which is just for business, because you also don't want to be inundating your personal connections all the time with all real estate. It can be a little bit heavy. So I would say really important personal story, a little bit about your lifestyle, but keep integrous with yourself so that comes through the social media, and a little bit about your activity in real estate. Jenny can probably elaborate on a more specific formula for that?
Sure. I'll mirror what you're saying and break it down a little bit more. Is maybe, to me, I'm thinking it's 70% more of a personal story, talking about your lifestyle, talking about your personal experiences and your connections and your values. 20% about listings and just solds. And what I don't like, it's kind of my pet peeve, and where this is where I start tuning out, is like when someone is posting, like this is specifically posts because I don't watch stories. So this is posts where someone's like, coming soon. And then they post, just listed, accepted offer, and then subject removal, possession. So that's like, that was like 5 or 6 posts on one listing.
A post, not a story, you said.
No. So what I'm saying is, some agents tend to overpost about one property. And that's kind of my pet peeve.
Okay. Interesting.
And so like, I don't do that. Like, I don't think we do that. Miranda can verify that, but we're just posting like our recent solds, like all in a batch. And then like, if there's a new listing that we really want to get out, we'll definitely post it on the social media, but it's about 20% for our listings. And then the final 10% would be, general market conditions, because that information you can really find anywhere. So if you are wanting to post about market conditions, make it more personable and maybe more related to certain communities rather than in a general scope.
I actually don't even like the new listings sold posts. We do it on our channel just to show that we're active, but it's like, shit, tell them something interesting. Show them who you are. And so we're going to be, Warren and I just had this conversation. We're going to be posting more of that stuff because him and I don't like posting about the sold. It's like, you guys already know that we can sell homes. I don't need to keep doing it.
Right.
Just listed is important because it's actually a way to get the marketing out there and it's doing a service, I think, to your sellers.
Right.
So that's a little bit different, but
the solds are just basically for your self-image.
Yeah. And so the thing is, I do agree with you. I think no more than 20% for that. And I would also consider posting about that even less and giving them something else.
Sure. We can bring that down to 10%. I mean,
it's relative. It's relative.
It's all personal, what you want to post on yours. But more than anything, go really heavy on personal story about how you became a realtor and how, how you connect with the community, your volunteer work, about your dog, about your kids, about your relationship at home and about your family life, with your parents.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All of those things are great.
Make yourself human.
Because we are human.
This question is from Flora Gordon.
Oh, Flora.
Her handle is @FloraGordon. She's a graphic designer and art director. Do you want to ask the question?
I will ask the question. This is a great question. She's a member of the public. And also she's one of my graphic designers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If your people will be going to university in person now, how will this affect the rental market at places like UBC, University of British Columbia?
Awesome. Good question.
You want to answer?
Sure. Yeah. So first of all, let's give an idea. Like if you guys are listening in the United States or across Canada, University of British Columbia has student housing, but also is a spot where a lot of developers have built like residential buildings. And so their going rate for rent is studios go for $1,600
a month.
Yeah. Junior 1-bedrooms are ranging around $1,800 to $1,900. 1-bedrooms, they go for around like $1,900. 2-bedrooms around $2,300. And I'd say 3-bedrooms would go around $3,000 to $3,200 around there. So, one of the things that UBC has actually proposed or is in effect is their rent has actually been is frozen to 2019-2020 rates. And it's a combination of them encouraging students to stay on campus, to live on campus, but also because of the Tenancy Act too. The Tenancy Act.
Yeah. It's not just UBC, it's all of BC. All of
BC, where we cannot raise rents, and it's actually until July to the end of this year.
They'll probably extend it again if people.
I mean, no problem. Like I have my tenants in my properties, and I gave the notice just too late. But I mean, I couldn't because it
didn't even matter if you gave the notice because they're like, oh, sorry, can't do it anyhow. I did give the notice,
but I couldn't raise it because it landed in right after March 2020. So what's great about UBC is that it not only attracts students, but it also attracts home buyers of all kinds. UBC is right on the edge of West Coast waters.
Yes.
And it attracts people who love to spend time outdoors, who love to be near the water. And it just has a really great postal code. And
there's a lot of the medical professional community out that way and east of that as well. Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's also a combination of other factors that our rental market has really not been affected. It's a low supply of affordable housing. And then as well, new construction has really stopped or is a lot more behind the trail than the demand.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the small players have really gotten out of the market. And in this case, there's a lot less multifamily homes to be able to rent out.
So there was a portion of time though, Flora, where the rental market at UBC was actually affected slightly. It probably went down. It did go down a little bit during the first and second wave of COVID. Mm-hmm. I forget what the percentage was. We calculated it. It was like 10 to 15% actually. And it's actually gone back up because of these reasons that Jenny is talking about.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I think finally as well, it does attract a lot of foreigners and out of country residences. So the BC has always encouraged and had open gates to invite immigrants into Vancouver, into BC. Mm-hmm. And we're talking not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands into Canada, into BC. And so that has encouraged people to continue to move here.
Yes.
So hopefully that answers your question, Flora.
Thank you for your question.
So next.
So this next one is from Brenda Sanis. I think Brenda. The T is probably silent. Sorry if I said your last name wrong, Brenda. But
She's from Toronto.
Yeah, from Toronto. Thank you so much for your question. And the question is, what advice would you give to fellow realtors looking to start their own podcast? And is there anything different you would do now than when you first started? That's a great question.
Thanks, Brenda. She's a realtor at Forest Hill Real Estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
in Toronto.
In Toronto, yes. So what advice we want to give to the podcast?
Well,
to
I would
potential podcasters.
Okay. I just think, and this isn't really about podcasts, but whenever there's an opportunity that presents itself, just say yes. And more specifically, if you would like to start your own podcast, just do it. Come up though with a little bit of a niche marketing plan or business plan for what you would like to, what kind of topics you'd want to discuss, how you'd want it to look, and then just move forward with it.
So we came up with a business plan. She's laughing because what?
I'm laughing because I was like, yeah, I was wanting to be more involved in that initial business plan. I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then all of a sudden in my email box, she's like, I sent you one. I'm like, what the heck?
Okay. So, the business plan outlined our strengths and our weaknesses, our opportunities, like, you know, the
target audience,
our brainstorming of names, how much it's going to cost, our mission statement, our values, what we want to get out of it. But one advice that I want to share is that you need to have a why. Why are you doing it?
Yeah, we probably, there was a why, but I feel as though throughout the last year, because it's our year anniversary, it was a bit more clarified. So tell our listeners what our why is.
Our why is we are empowering women to step up their game, to increase their revenue, to have work-life balance. And so we're just empowering women to own their own life and run their business.
Call your power back to you.
Yes.
And it's a good reminder for us.
Yes.
Because we don't always do it.
We don't always practice it, but we know we need to do it.
Yeah. And we are actively trying to practice this.
Yeah. So I'd say like, know your why. Why you're
doing it. Know your
why,
absolutely.
So her handle is B_TZANNIS. Follow her if you ever need a realtor in the Toronto area. Okay. Cassie Woon. Oh, my sister. Of course she has to write a question because she wants to be on this podcast.
We should have her Zoom in one day.
What are your thoughts on real estate investing and rental properties?
Do you want me to?
Sure. Yeah.
So I come from a real estate family. I have always thought that real estate investing is a great way to build wealth, long-term wealth. If it's your first time though, there are several factors that are important in terms of mindset going into, if you want to build wealth. So for example, what is your why? Why do you want the rental property? If it is for a cash flow scenario, or you're again wanting to build appreciation in real estate and then cash out eventually, or whatever, you're planning for retirement, that's really important. For myself, I don't actually really play the stock market, which can be very successful, but I've always trusted real property.
Right.
Because it's something physical and tangible. And so I always think that real estate is a great investment if you're going in with the long-term vision of holding it for a period of time. We said this on the podcast before, and it's a rule that my family lives by. It is, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. That has always remained true. So I think it's important. And specifically, if we're talking about rental properties, running those figures are really important. Obviously, you want it to be cash flow positive. And Warren and I have recently been looking at that. What is cash flow positive? If you're in the Metro Vancouver area, there haven't been a lot of break-even properties even. So we've actually been looking at other areas outside of Metro Vancouver, including Vancouver Island, some other opportunities used to be in the Fraser Valley too, but even those have gone up substantially in price. So sometimes it's looking outside of where you're currently looking. I don't know if that actually answered the question. What would you like to add?
That's really good advice. So I'd say, yes, Cassie, the idea of real estate investing and purchasing rental properties is always a plus. Your goal should be long-term hold. That's always the best strategy. And because it's so, I guess you could say, cheap to
money is cheap right
to
now.
Borrow with historically low rates, it's definitely a really good investment long term. There's always a low supply of affordable housing, always a low supply of low income housing, and so the idea of buying a property, being able to rent it out is a positive.
Yeah, as long as you're running the numbers correctly. I think the dangers sometimes of investing in a rental property is that if it's done the wrong way. So for example, you haven't accounted for a specific cost, you haven't apportioned a percentage to that, which would be for unit improvements or building improvements or whatever it is. And possibly you're not purchasing something that's a good investment, like a good structure. It could be the location or all of these things. That's where people get into difficulty.
Yeah. So I'm finding if you're buying pre-sale, for example, and you've bought it in 2018, you're trying to flip it in 2019, think about the costs that are involved, the capital gains, the realtor commission, the legal fees that are involved. And that's really short-term gains. The people who are making the $150,000 to $100,000 just by flipping it within the year, that's called lucky.
That's too risky. It's too risky.
And it rarely happens. It's like certain spurts, right? But think about it long term. I suggest look at areas that where it was not really favorable at first, but now think about how everybody is moving outwards and needs bigger homes, and all these little communities, just like yours, Cassie, where you live, Stouffville, used to be small. And now there's like, you're in a big city and there's also other cities adjacent to your city. So think about that for the long game.
Yeah. Oh, this is an interesting one. This is from Rick, AKA Slick Rick.
Let's do that again.
What?
Let's say Slick Rick together.
Okay.
This is from
This is from Rick. Slick Rick. I thought we were doing it together.
I thought you were going to say AKA first.
Oh, okay, let's do it again.
Okay.
Don't cut this. This is hilarious.
Thank God for editing.
Okay, this is from Rick, AKA
Slick Rick.
What is the question? Okay. Oh, what is the market like on the Sunshine Coast? Good investment location?
I'm going to defer this question to you. I don't know much about the island because I know you've been shopping on there.
Sunshine Coast is a bit different though. Okay. So I can speak to it a little bit, guys, but I'm not a market expert for the Sunshine Coast.
We need a realtor for the Sunshine Coast on this podcast.
Oh, there's actually,
you have one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Different. We'll have them on a different day.
All right.
Okay. So Sunshine Coast, Yeah, that market has also exploded. I mean, even before COVID, it was becoming more and more popular because the proximity to Greater Vancouver is actually quite close. So actually what some people would do is, I mean, it's as simple as a very quick ferry ride. Okay. So some people will move to the Sunshine Coast. This is pre-COVID. And then they'd come back maybe once or twice a week for their work appointments and then go back to the Sunshine Coast. So
within the day.
I'm sorry?
Within the day.
Within the day. Okay. Very easy. So there's a couple of options. If you really wanted to, you could fly, right? But if you're going to take the ferry, it's very easy and you only have to pay one way. Actually, I don't know if that's currently true. Okay, it is true. That was true the last time that I had gone over there because I was looking at property.
So the ticket gets you both ways.
Yeah, you buy one ticket and then it's okay. You don't have to buy the return. It gets you back on the, Okay. Anyhow, is it a good investment location? So yes, it is. And as we just mentioned, you still have to be careful and mindful about what you're investing in. There is a project on the Sunshine Coast that is not a good investment. I won't say specifically which one, but the project is sinking. So yeah.
You're going to have to share with me afterwards.
Yeah, I will. So this is true of any location. So we can just say for real estate investing, you obviously need to do your due diligence or your realtor needs to do it for you. You would collaborate on that together so that you don't have questions. But yeah, overall, it's a good investment. Great for families. It's relatively inexpensive compared to the other parts of Metro Vancouver. So that's why you're seeing that growth there. And you still have to be careful about what you're purchasing.
Yes. Yeah. And I believe it's one of those areas where there's this amazing opportunity where it hasn't been capitalized and it's not at its peak price yet. And you have a really long-term appreciation value that it's never seen before. So if you're looking for a more relaxed lifestyle, where there's a lot more space and a lot more quietness.
For sure. I mean, there's also lots of wildlife though. So be careful.
Okay.
And some of the properties will be a little bit different in terms of your due diligence because they're on septic and things like that. It's not all connected to the municipality.
That's why you need to hire a local realtor.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question comes from Samantha Kwong. She's on our West One team. Thanks, Samantha from Coquitlam. If you had to be stuck in an elevator with any celebrity, who would it be and why?
I'm going to let you answer it first because I'm not up on my celebrity anything. I don't pay attention to that.
Doesn't need to be celebrity. I mean, it could be.
Okay, you answer first.
Oh, no, sorry. Okay, so I would say mine is Kamala Harris.
Okay.
She's the first woman to serve ever as a vice president in the US. So she's an advocate for equality, climate change, big supporter for women's rights and closing gender pay gaps. And
love that
you know me, that's all what I'm all about is being financial independent. And I just think that I would learn so much from her on how to create programs and how to educate people on that. The funny thing is, I don't follow politics. I just love her tenacity. I love her, just how she embraces like the people that follow her and love her. Another person is, I feel like she'd be a total homegirl, like just like best friends is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's from the Bronx and she is the youngest woman to serve on Congress. And she just advocates for, again, like tuition. She advocates for medical care, for people who are just not in the wealth.
Not able to advocate for themselves given their current
So she came from a background of like almost her house getting foreclosed. And she just gets in it with the community.
Sounds like she's really giving back. So I could see why you resonate with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
Gosh, on the spot much. I'm going to say Kate Northrup.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay. So very interesting. She's an advocate for women in business. She's based out of the United States and her big thing is doing less to achieve and accomplish more. She has a book out that's called Do Less by Kate Northrup. Her mom is Dr. Christiane Northrup. Very interesting in terms of, they talk about a lot about the feminine mystique and about productivity. and building wealth and all these things while still nourishing yourself. So you could see why I would love to be stuck in an elevator with her, as that speaks to my current situation. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this was a wonderful 1-year anniversary session. I must say I am thoroughly enjoying this process of getting to know you, getting to know myself. Yes. I'm loving myself more and more, taking care of myself, and learning about the production of this. I think it's been really fun to come up with topics, get the guest on and learn about them, and being able to share with everybody else, to enhance their real estate business.
Yeah. And your journey. We love hearing about your guys' journeys too. And these questions are awesome. Thank you so much for submitting them. What would you say, I guess to close out our year anniversary, what would you say, Jenny, is your biggest learning experience or takeaway from the entire year?
I'd say be open and vulnerable, because you'll connect with more people. Very
Brene Brown. Yeah. I mean,
what is your takeaway?
My takeaway is that we're all very similar, no matter where you come from and what kind of background that you have. And I think that this has been I'm excited to continue on this journey with connecting with like-minded people.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for listening.